The Joe Rogan Experience.
We bought into the idea that social media was going to bring us together.
Yeah.
And certainly it has its benefits and it does some good things, but that's for people who have discipline, who have control. This dude I follow on YouTube named, you ever heard of the dude Hamza?
Yeah.
He does this video on these kids addicted to porn. If you as he outlines and put in my narrative in it, if you think about it, a kid who goes on a porn site and has access to unlimited women, it's virtual, but chemically, that's what's happening as a process.
Right.
So what incentive does he have after being with all these women in a virtual reality? Does he have to keep himself in shape, to be squared away, to be, I don't know, worthy of the woman in real life, right? So all the chemistry we're losing through the phone because it's a virtual reality de-incentivizes us to get up off our ass to do things to be good in real reality. So if you go to the gym, why do you go to the gym? I went to the gym because I wanted to be the best military asset I could be, but I wanted to be attractive to women. But if you are jerking off constantly off your phone, then how the fuck are you going to do that chemically?
You have no incentive.
You have no incentive. You're like, I'm a rock star. And so that's the problem. I had an ex-girlfriend tell me once, she said, I have thousands of friends. I said, you have like a couple friends. What are you talking about? Well, I have a large following and these people are my friends.
Oh,
Those
Christ.
people are your fucking following. They're not your friends.
There are people that you have a loose connection with digitally.
That's it.
Yeah,
They're an
idea that those
impression.
are your friends. I mean, maybe some of them can become your friends. I mean, maybe you have like-minded people that follow you, and you could get together with those folks in real life and become friends.
Yeah.
But those aren't your fucking
Those
friends.
are your fucking friends.
Yeah, it's so alien, and it's such a part of everyone's life. And we don't know how to manage it, and it's all new. So there's no real guidelines. There's only people that have fucked it up, or psychologists, or people that really understand human behavior that have looked at it and say, hey, here's all the pitfalls in really being connected to this on a daily basis. But I know some really intelligent people whose lives have fallen apart because they spend too much time reading comments on Twitter and getting in arguments with people and dealing with nonsense and creating problems for themselves and getting involved in these back and forths that just like they're constantly checking to see what other people have to say about it. Like, what are you doing, man? You're giving yourself a weight to carry. That's an unnecessary weight that doesn't make you stronger.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing good about that. Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing good about that.
I'm interested to see how it pans out over the course of another generation because, you know, my kids, I have twins, a boy and a girl. And
How
they're
old are they?
3. 3 years, 5 months. And my son, he can navigate a phone.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Wild,
with
right?
his fat fingers, just like lumping through it and just
crazy.
And he's so in tune with it, but he sees daddy doing it. You know, he sees daddy picking up his phone, and you can't get away from that. But you could certainly regulate it. I mean, you could certainly be disciplined about the interaction with it. But at the end of the day, they have to have the discipline in themselves to be able to do that, right? Because one day it's just going to be them. And the same thing, I know friends, former employees, people whose lives have come apart, unraveled because of social media, sliding into DMs, consumed with it 5 hours a day. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And people. So here's what I've recognized too. I don't have an addictive personality. I've never been addicted to anything. Like, I like whiskey when I like whiskey, but I don't drink it every night. I've never been addicted really to anything. And I see people who I know who have addictive personalities, their new addiction is social media. Mm-hmm. And so they can't put it down because it's the drug. It's the dopamine they need. They fiend for it.
Well, they don't have good control of their consciousness. They don't have good control of their intention and their mindset. It's a real problem with people because the thing that's compelling to them, they can't avoid. The thing that's compelling is what are people saying? What are they doing? What are they commenting? What are they posting? I got to read it. I got to respond. I got to go back and forth. I have to have the best response. I have to this. I have to that. And then there's people that are addicted to TikTok. They're just scrolling like mindlessly, like robots
Zombies.
watching things happen, and they're not doing anything. And you've lost hours of your time. You've absorbed nothing. You've got no information. There's no net benefit to what you've done, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. So many people are doing it. It's wild to watch my kids, like with TikTok, watch them stare at their phones and going through it. I'm like, hey, that's the devil. Put that fucking stupid thing down.
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting out of that? You're not getting anything out of that. But what's amazing is, it's really amazing to watch their ability to navigate through computers and navigate through cell phones. Like, my 12-year-old can fucking edit a video with her thumbs in like seconds. I don't even know what she's doing. She's moving shit around and putting it. I go, how do you know how to do that? Like,
Isn't
how
that
are you
crazy?
doing that so good?
Yeah, I think, I can't remember who said this. Somebody was talking to me about it. A Clint Trial, a buddy of mine, was telling me about how we grew up analog, right? We grew up in an analog society where the things that we did were all very instinctive. And we were outside drinking out of garden hoses, fucking running the streets. And that kind of upbringing lends itself to being able to adapt. Adaptation is the number one characteristic of survivability. It's adaptation, being able to adapt on the fly. That top 10% and that 10-80-10 rule, you want to be in the top 10%, you got to be able to adapt. But if your only adaptation is navigating technology, then how is that going to work out for you in the future? And if you look at generations in 20-year cycles, we are the last generation to live analog and not grow up with it at our disposal.
Yeah.
So it means we aren't typically emotionally charged by things that we see or read. We typically don't take things out of context because we want to know in the weeds what the actual truth is. But there are posts on social media. This dude, Sean King, and I don't know if that's going to work out for me calling him out on a podcast, but Sean King, everything I've seen about what he puts out in the BLM movement was being charged with emotionally getting people to go to essentially war in the streets and protest. And those protests turned into something more violent. And that is a problem when you have a mass of people who are following the herd and you just take something they wrote and it's potentially taken out of context, like hit the streets and burn it down. Maybe you didn't mean literally burn it down, but they're literally burning it down. I mean, the mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, who's African-American, who was like, you guys are burning down the city and 50% of the businesses in the city are black. Why are you doing this?